Joining me now from the Australian Electoral Commission, Evan Ekin-Smyth. Great to have you on the program. Have you, at the Commission, been surprised at the level of pre-poll?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, 2022 was the first federal election where the more people actually turned out in the early voting period, combination of postal and pre-poll, than on the day itself. We thought that would flatten out a little bit, but it's certainly risen again. And I do have an updated figure for you, Steve. It's over 8 million now when you combine the completed postals returned.
Wow.
And about 6.7 million people have come through pre-poll. So put those two together, 8 million.
That's a lot. My name was ticked off digitally. My vote was sealed in an envelope. The staff there were fantastic, by the way. When might that vote, Evan, get counted?
It's good to hear that the staff were fantastic. When polls close at 6 p.m. on election night, anybody who's voted near their home electorate who didn't have to put their vote in an envelope, will count those on election night. Anybody who voted in the pre-poll period near their home electorate, again, we'll count those on the night. We're counting a few postal votes that have been returned as well per division to give a trend to Tom Connell and others who will analyse that data. But if you voted away from your home electorate, which sounds like you've done there, Steve, with voting in an envelope, it has to travel back to home electorate. So those get counted in the days afterwards.
What's the safeguards for people who would, for whatever crazy reason, try and vote more than once?
Yeah, there's a lot of safeguards. So we have what we call electronic certified lists. It's effectively real-time mark-off of the electoral roll. That's with all of our mobile teams, all of our early voting centres, all overseas voting centres, a lot of voting centres on the day as well. Anybody who votes outside of their area does what we call a declaration vote, which is what you did with the envelope there. That goes through a roll mark-off process before it actually gets admitted to the count. So if someone's shown to have already voted, it's not admitted to the count. Also, it's a criminal offence, and we do a cross-check of the electoral roll, of course, after the event, and expedite it if it's a close seat as well, to make sure that there isn't any level of multiple marks larger than the margin. And we always do that, and it shows that there's a very, very low level of that occurring.
Has Evan, the AEC been at all concerned about some of these incidents at pre-poll booths with posters being damaged and defaced?
Yeah, we have. We've been concerned with some sort of disrespectful behaviour, I suppose you could categorise it, on the lower end. Sometimes there's a few isolated incidents of violence as well. None of that is what you want to see at an Australian federal election, which is actually quite famous for having a respectful sort of community atmosphere to a federal election day. So people should be really conscious of that. Treat Australian democracy with passion, sure, absolutely. You should be passionate. Campaign for the causes you believe in and the policies and the candidates. But treat each other with respect. Candidate workers, our staff, voters, we all need to get along and get through the Australian federal election in a respectful manner.
Some of the mechanics, what's the fine if you don't vote?
It's only $20, Steve, but I don't know about you. I'd want the $20 in my pocket rather than the AEC's pocket. And really, the consequence here, and might sound a little bit naff, but it's real. You're not having your say, and people might think that what goes on in Canberra doesn't necessarily affect you. It absolutely does. The people that you put up the hill in Canberra, they make decisions that affect multiple aspects of your life. So you should absolutely have a say on who represents you in the House of Reps and the Senate.
What time do the polling stations open tomorrow? And I missed out, obviously, on the democracy sausage. I presume we're going to see sausage sizzles right around the country tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we will. We don't run them, of course, but we've heard lots of reports that they are being run at different venues across the nation. There's about 7,000 odd polling places. They're all operating from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. And then, of course, we get into the count. It's a long day for our 100,000 odd temporary staff. We do lots of counting on election night. With the increased pre-poll, there's a bit of a sting in the tail with the count, because if you have a pre-poll centre that's about 20 or 25,000 odd, big pre-poll centre, it can drop the results quite late in the night. So a little bit of patience required this time around.
I'll tell Tom to be patient. Evan, thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow. And again, thank you for the way your staff treated everyone at the pre-poll that I went to.